right, we're going to cross to our SABC News reporter, Natasha Phiri, who has her ear on the ground for us. Natasha, good morning once again. So we now officially know the top 6 that have been elected. Perhaps as we look at some of the priorities, the sentiments coming through, even edging closer to local government elections of 2026, what's some of those sentiments been reflected?
Well, very good morning to you once again, Liesel, and of course to our SABC viewers. Quite a slow morning here coming to you from Nasrec, but we do expect a short program. You talk about the program of action now for the EFF, seeing that Liesel in his political report, Mr. Malema had actually cited that this year was quite a challenging one, for the EFF. Not only did they face challenges externally, like the loss at the polls, but also internally as well, because of those leaders that actually jumped ship and have left the party. But now with this newly appointed, re-elected leadership, the hope is that they indeed will then chart forward a way for the party to actually strengthen the party. Not only that, but through the constitutional amendments, strengthen the party on the ground. Remember, there was a constitutional amendment that had actually proposed that the EFF actually do away with regions and then create sub-regions to ensure that the EFF is actually closer to the people and the constituency is actually closer to the people. So the hope for the party is that this leadership will come out very strong. I mean, if you characterize this leadership, Liesel, one would say it's an experienced leadership, leaders that, Mr. Malema can actually trust. Some would say tried and tested. You have the likes of Godrich Gadi, the likes of Marshall Dlamini, was also quite lauded for his role, being the Secretary General throughout one of the most toughest, tenures of the EFF. Remember, they had to, like in Mr. Malema's words, overcome things like the COVID-19 pandemic, where they had to actually rebuild the party, afterwards, throughout that pandemic. You have the 1 million campaign where they actually had to get more EFF members and strengthen the party. So the hope is that this leadership will then, be stronger than the one we've actually seen, but also that program of action for 2026, where they actually seek to gain lost ground. Remember, they've dipped in this year's elections to about 9%. The hope was for them to actually increase from 10%, but this is rather the hope for the party. Of course, we will hopefully expect a press briefing from the newly elected leadership. We still haven't had word from the officials of the EFF, but of course we will be giving you the latest updates in this regard. We also hope to speak to the newly appointed leadership of the EFF, and of course we will be giving you the latest updates in this regard. Back to you in studio, Liesel.
Thanks, Natasha. Certainly monitoring those developments as the National People Assembly Conference for the EFF wraps up today. Natasha Phiri painting that picture for us with her eyes and ears on the ground.